What's happening?
What's
How y'all
going
doing?
on, man? What's happening?
Y'all ready to do this? I'm
Let's
ready. Let's
do
go.
it.
What's happening, my man?
How was your week,
Let's
bro?
do it.
Man, my week was awesome, man. I'm excited to
I'm
be
good,
here.
That's
brother.
what's up. Okay, corny joke of the day. Y'all ready for this one?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay. All right, let me see. What do you call a pig that does karate?
I'm lost. What?
A pork chop.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
All right.
Welcome to the show.
Come on. That's right. Welcome to the Mad Discussions podcast. Mad Discussions with the Fly Guys, where we discuss music, art, and dance and other life topics. Make sure you tune in, no matter if you're at home, you're cleaning the kitchen, or if you are at work, working behind the desk. If you're in the garage working on tinkering with some stuff, wherever you're at, if you're on tour, performing in your mind, creating, wherever you're at, welcome to Mad Discussions with the Fly Guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. To my left, I have
Jesse Magana.
and then to my right, I have
Shadow Black, original member for Fly Dance Crew since '95.
absolutely. If you don't know, we are the Fly Dance Company. We're the gentlemen, known as the Gentlemen of Hip Hop. We're super excited to be here and be a part of your day today. So thank you for tuning in and listening. Now, if you don't know, Fly Dance Company does educational shows, performances, classes. Fly's been around since 1995, over 25 years of performances all across the country, all over the world. We also do evening shows and concerts, guest pieces. We perform from the Kennedy Center to the Lincoln Center and countless tours all over the world. So thank you guys. If you don't know who we are, Now, Fly Dance Company has a few directors. We have our artistic director, Kathy Wood, which is the founder of Fly.
Yeah, shout out
Right?
to Kathy Wood.
Big shout out, absolutely. We have her husband, Mike Wood, who is a good advisor of ours. And then we also have Chris Cortez and Adam Heroes, who are actually the directors for Fly. We want to give them a big shout out. So thank you guys for being a part of Fly. And pushing that forward. So we're going to be having some performances coming up. Jesse, where are we going to be performing?
So this year we will be going to the Complex Center in Gillette, Wyoming. We'll be doing a few educational shows. We'll be out there March 1st to the 3rd. We'll also be going to the Memorial Auditorium in Burlington, Iowa. We'll be there in April 22nd. We'll be doing a couple concerts and a few workshops. July 10th, we will be working with the Missouri Symphony at the Missouri Theater in Columbia, Missouri. And last but not least, December 4th, we'll be working with the Youngstown Symphony at the Dior Performing Arts Center in Youngstown, Ohio. So big shout out to everybody. If you're going to be out there, make sure to come check us out.
Absolutely.
We'll be out there.
So let's, we've been tested with COVID and everything, so we can remove our masks, y'all, and we can let the people see who we are. So, if you don't know who we are, Jesse, can you let the people know a little bit more about yourself? How did you kind of get with us, and why are you even sitting here,
Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jesse Magana. I am a principal dancer for Fly Dance Company. I'm also a full-time dance instructor. I work with a few different dance companies as well. I work with Fly Dance Company. I work with Chris Cortez's organization.
With Houston Healthy Hip Hop?
Houston Healthy Hip Hop.
Absolutely.
And I also work with Break Free Hip Hop School, where we teach the youth breaking, DJing, graffiti art, and MCing.
Awesome. Well, myself, I was an original member, like I said before, of the Fly Dance Company back in '95.
You were the first Fly. One of the first. You're a part of the first group, right?
First generation.
First generation
One of
Fly.
the original crew members.
Absolutely.
So we did that for a few years, and I was able
Yeah.
to venture off into other things as far as like dancing for the Rockets organization. The
Nice.
Comets. So now I'm a full-time music producer, hip-hop music producer.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
And my name is Jorge Casco. I'm the executive director for Fly Dance Company. I also run On the Love After School, where we do educational performances. And we also, I've dropped a book. It's Henry the Hip Hop Hippo. So the first hip hop dance book. And it talks about being yourself and being the best thing that you can be, which is being yourself, right? And this is what this podcast is about too. We're going to touch on different topics. We're going to talk about music, dance, dance and art and other life topics. But at the same time, it's just like we just want to motivate people just to follow their dreams and be who they are. You know what I'm saying? Be themselves, you know, and that's the best thing that you can do is be you, you know? So that's our message for this whole show and this whole program. So let's get into it, right? So, Shadow, do you, how did you even get involved with Fly, right? Can you give them a little backstory on that a little bit?
Yeah, man. I remember, Coro, which is pretty much Coro was the crew prelude to Fly Dance Crew. So when I got out of the military from the Navy, I came down. Coro was already dancing with Kathy Wood, and so some of the guys ended up going their own directions, and the ones that decided to stay and stick it out, that's when we were able to form Fly and started dancing to the different classical pieces and symphony music and
so you being part of the first group, right? In the last episode we touched on how you started with them, right? So now what I want to know is, you know, how dance, like when you were dancing, like did you ever like hurt yourself or what was the abuse that your body took as a performer or as a dancer? You know what I mean?
I just remembered a lot of sore nights. You know, you don't
a lot of them.
you don't quite feel it as you're, you know, going through the motions and you're actually in the act of performing and dancing. Yeah. It's, you know, it's that next day or that second day, you know, that it really just kind of sets in a lot of aches and pains. But, you know, when, you know, 20 years ago, I'm in my early 20s. Yeah. You know, so you don't really start feeling it. It's now I'm feeling the aches and pains and the abuse from what I did to my body 20 years ago.
So let's talk to our viewers, you know, that are dancers out there who are young, who don't stretch, who don't do any of that stuff.
And I didn't do any of it.
Is there anything you want to tell them out there? You know, all the dancers are out there that you know, they're living their youth. They're like, you know, I could do a backflip off the ceiling and land into a split without nothing, right?
Don't take it for granted. Take care of your vessel. Take care of your body. Yeah. Make sure you stretch. You know, make sure you drink plenty of water. Make sure you eat the right proper foods, because it may not affect you now. Yeah. But I promise you, 20 years, 15, 10 years down the line, you will feel the effects. You know, if you don't take care of it properly. Jesse, what about you, man?
Man, you know, I agree with you 1,000%. It's funny how you say that, because when I first started getting involved with Fly was when I was 10 years old. Yeah. So, you know, you can only imagine. I'm about to be 27 now. Yeah. So, you know, dancing for that long, I kind of already started feeling that at a younger age.
You're feeling that in your 20s?
I'm feeling that already in my 20s, man. Like, for real. So everything you said, I'm taking it for real. Yeah. Because if you don't do that, you're not going to last that long. No. You're not going to last that long. Like, you can't be young forever, so you have to start thinking ahead of the game. Yeah. So what I started doing what I was supposed to do back then. You know, I started stretching. I started eating healthy now. I started taking yoga.
Now you want to stretch.
Now, because I started feeling it. And I remember when we went to that tour in Germany. Yeah. Bro, I've never felt so tired in my life. Because I remember we would literally wake up at 6 a.m. We would do breakfast. And then we'd go do like 2 or 3 school shows, right? Yeah. After that, we'd have a small break. Then we have a 4-hour tech rehearsal. Mm-hmm. And when we do the tech rehearsal, we're not just walking through. We're doing it full out. Yeah. Because the tech guys have to know exactly what we're doing, where we're at, you know, what moves we're doing. And then we'd have to run the concert. Yeah. After that 4-hour tech. Yeah. And then after that, we'd have to go out and, you know, meet with the presenter, you know, go out for, you know, a late dinner.
A presenter would be like the sponsor or, you know, the promoter or something like that brings you in, you know.
And then after that, we'd go to sleep like around 12:30, 1 a.m., you know, because we'd have to go, you know, shower, get ready, pack our stuff for the next day, and do it all over again, you know. So it gets very tiring at times, but, you know.
Well, I think during that tour we did, I think one of the weeks was we did like 4 shows back to back. Then we had like 2 days off or something like that. And then we did like 9 shows, like a week in a few days, you know. Yeah. Back to back to back to back. And when you look at it on paper, it's like, oh, it's cool, long tour. But then once you get in there and you do it, whew, man, that thing was...
and that's why it's important to, like, take care of your conditioning. Yeah. You know, so if you're dancing, if you really want to take dancing professionally, take care of your body, stretch, eat correctly, sleep. Sleep is also a very important thing. Get your full 8 hours sleep, or if you need 6, get 6. If you need 7, you need 7. Like, everybody's body works differently.
Absolutely.
And you are the only person that knows what you need.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, if you're going to take dancing seriously, I would really consider taking all those healthy habits and, put them into your lifestyle. Especially now that breaking's in the Olympics now.
Hey, round of applause right there, man.
Breaking is in the Olympics now.
Yeah. What was that, man? Hey, somebody's at the delivery truck is here, bro. Hey, and big shout out to Omar Davila. Hey, man, he's the new creative director of the U.S. breaking team. So, man, big shout out to them, man. So also
known as B-Boy Omar.
B-Boy Omar, man.
The first winner of Red Bull BC1.
The first winner of BC1,
And where's he from? Texas.
From Texas.
Come on, man.
That's from Austin, right?
Austin, Texas.
From Austin, yeah. So big shout out to you, man, and a big round of applause to you for that great accomplishment. And we hope to hear some great news about it. So big, round of applause to him,
big
right?
Big round of applause.
Yeah.
So for all you B-boys and B-girls that are trying to take this to a professional level, just know that you can actually represent your country and get a gold medal for breaking.
Absolutely.
I never thought that was going to happen, but hey, here we are,
Shout out. Did you ever think, dude?
Bro, listen, let me tell you, when Kathy Wood, when Kathy Wood told us that we can actually make money doing what we do, I had to look at her and ask her again. I was like, are you serious? I can make money dancing the way I dance.
Yeah.
I don't have no training, Kathy.
Yeah.
I ain't been to school, Kathy.
No.
Really? She's like, yeah. So to hear that, so to know that we can not only get paid, like we can go into the Olympics now.
Yeah.
That's hard to fathom, bro.
That's
hard
amazing.
to fathom. That's huge.
And the good thing is that kind of opens up doors for every hip hop head that's, whether you're, or if you're young or wise, it kind of opens up doors and different job opportunities. Because if you're not an athlete, you still need people to help you. You know what I mean? You need trainers. You need mentors.
Yeah.
You need people, physical therapists.
Yeah.
So it kind of opens up the doors for, people of all ages in the hip hop.
And it's crazy because we get to tour. Obviously before the whole COVID thing, we were everywhere, man. We tour all over the globe, and all over the United States, and it was still pushback for. I mean, we're dancing to classical music in tuxedos. I mean, I don't know how much dressed up we can get, bro. And people are still like, hip hop, I don't know. And you would think about it with all those dance shows and everything. There's still communities out there that, they're like, well, we don't know,
Okay.
Like, we're dancing to classical, bro. Like,
can I share a story with you?
Yeah, go ahead.
But when I was performing with Fire Dance Company, there is a particular dance company here in Houston.
Yeah.
I won't mention the name.
Yeah.
But I remember when we first performed at the JCC, which is the Jewish Community Center for people that don't know. We had our baggy clothes on, and we're about to go perform, do what we normally do.
Yeah.
So before we went out to perform, this dance company that will remain unmentioned.
Yeah.
They kind of had their noses frowned up on us, the noses up in the air. They're looking down on us like, what are these guys fixing to do? They aren't properly trained. They don't have any formal background. So when we go out there and we kill it and we get the double standing ovation,
it's turned.
Mm-hmm.
then it's all, we walk backstage. The energy changes.
The
energy changed.
Because they probably saw y'all like, man, what are they doing here? They're too rough around the edges.
You already know. We got, we got judged.
Scared,
we were totally
them,
misjudged. The stereotypes. So, but when we go out there on the stage and we kill it, I'm gonna tell you this: we got our respect.
And that's beautiful because that's how you combat that negative energy. They expect us to act silly and be loud and do these things that we're, people from the street or
the stereotypical
street dancers or street guys are just used to doing this type of stuff. But when you do, because I was raised with both parents, and both of my parents taught me, how to act, not to act a fool, have respect, no matter,
respect.
And in the streets too. If you run in the street, because not giving respect to the people that you need to respect might get you killed.
Yeah.
So whether you're in the suburbs or you're in a good neighborhood or whatever, whether your parents were there or not, the main thing is that, at least for me, it was, make sure that you respect.
Respect was big.
And when people are coming, because this happened in all over the news. So when people come in and they judge you right off the back, it's better to kill them with kindness than do something positive. You know what I mean?
Then versus doing something that the expected of what people expect you to do. You know, do the opposite.
And that's true, man. Because actually, I have a small story regarding that. I remember one time I was with my crewmate. His name's Felipe.
Yeah.
We took a trip out to San Antonio. We did a 2-on-2 out there.
Yeah.
And
what's a 2-on-2 to our listeners and viewers?
Is how to put this? It's kind of like a competition format. You know, you have your 1 versus 1, where it's just you and one other person battling, or you can have a partner with you, and it could be a 2 versus 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we went out there. We did a competition, and then I remember on the way back, I got pulled over for speeding, and I wasn't even speeding that much. I think it was only like 3 or 4 miles over the speed limit. And the officer rolled down the window. He looked at us, and the first thing he saw was what we were wearing, of course. And we were wearing, hip hop clothes. We were wearing our sweatpants. You know, it was kind of chilly at the time, so we wore like a hoodie.
Yeah.
I had a picture of Tupac on there. And then my friend Felipe, he was very similar,
Yeah.
And he started asking us questions like, you know why I stopped you? And I said, no, sir, why? He said, because you were going over the speed limit.
Yeah.
He then started asking us, where were y'all from?
Yeah.
I guess, but just by looking at what we were wearing.
Yeah.
And we explained to him, I
went from around those parts.
Exactly. It was kind of like a small populated
One of
town.
those situations.
It was a small populated small town from, we're driving from San Antonio to Houston.
Man. Yeah.
And so it's funny because, like, I guess he expected that we had something that we weren't supposed to have.
Yeah.
So he made us step out the car.
Oh,
he was
wow.
in there for like 20 minutes.
Wow.
And he didn't find nothing because we didn't have nothing, Next thing you know, I'm guessing he's trying to look for something to catch us.
Yeah.
He was looking at my friend Felipe. And the thing is, before we got pulled over, we stopped to get snacks. And my friend Felipe loves pecan pies. So, we've been at a jam. We've been dancing all day. We're hungry,
Yeah, the dance competition, you're burning all those carbs.
For real.
You want to get some pecan pie. What's up, Felipe?
Yeah.
And so
I'm gonna buy your friend some pecan pie.
Because the next thing that happened, he has crumbs on his shirt and stuff. And so the officer,
That's how I eat crumbs everywhere.
he saved some for later.
That's I'm so skinny.
So the officer goes, oh yeah, y'all don't have nothing illegal. What's that on your shirt? And I guess he was thinking it was some sort of drug or something.
Yeah.
And the officer goes, what's that on your shirt? And my friend goes, that's actually pecan pie. And the officer's all like, nah, that's not pecan pie. So he actually grabs it. What surprises me, he smells it at first, and then he tastes it.
No way!
Yeah, he tastes it. And the funny thing is, he goes like this. Yeah, that's pecan pie. He's like, that's pecan pie. Y'all free to go.
That must have been some good pecan pie.
Man, let's give that cop a round of applause.
Man,
for
what?
letting our boys go.
He did let us go. But
That's cool, man.
the one thing,
But you know what? He was just doing his job.
Yeah.
He was doing his job. He was he was making sure, that you guys were, doing the right thing. You were speeding. You know what I'm saying? And he went through the whole process. He didn't just jump the gun and try to put you guys in a negative situation.
Yeah.
He was going as protocol. Checking this point, checking that point. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's so it's a good job, man, to that cop for staying on task and
of course.
and
Just doing his job.
Doing his job, man.
But that goes to show you too, like, don't judge people by the way they're dressed or the way they look, because honestly, we weren't doing anything illegal. We just came back.
Don't
from
get
a
caught
break.
up in appearances.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's another bad stigma, unfortunately, that hip hop has. By the way we dress, we get bad, bad stereotypes.
Absolutely.
Sometimes. What about you, Shadow? You have any police stories like that or anything?
I do have one good one, a good positive one to tell.
Yeah.
I had to have been about 12 or 13. I was doing something I was not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Typical 12-year-old stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got caught up with a bunch of other buddies of mine.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up getting away.
Yeah.
And I happened to be the one stuck behind,
the little one that got
caught between, like, do I run or do I stay? I'm like,
Yeah.
and I got caught. So anyway, cop comes and picks me up, and he's asking me where I live. I told him, I was literally like crying in tears. You cannot drop me off to my mom. My mom is going. Mom, at this time, you understand, at that age, mom is God.
Yeah.
She has all the power.
And she's single parent, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So mom is God. So I just remember begging for my life, please do not drop me off into my house and tell my mom. And surprisingly, the cop let me go. He dropped me off at my apartments and let me go.
Now, more importantly, did you learn your lesson?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, I did.
Let's give a round of applause to that cop right there for believing, like giving you a chance, because he could have took you in, sent you down that path, and you would have been open to other kids that are, in detention centers that are doing something. You could have came out, and it could have been a vicious circle,
Definitely kept me on the right path.
Absolutely. And like you said on the previous podcast, on the last episode, you said you're in the Navy. You know what I mean? So,
yes.
So obviously, you have respect for police and the officials.
Absolutely.
I have a cool, positive cop story.
You gotta hear yours, George.
Yeah,
you
man,
got one?
Well, for me, okay, it's okay. The crazy thing is that at my high school, bro, I don't know if this ever happened to y'all, but I would get arrested. And I would get lunch detention for breaking.
Oh man.
What?
For b-boying, bro.
That's
for dancing, right? But it was weird because high school.
That's crazy.
The high school would actually call us and tell us to do the performances for the pep rally.
No way.
So it was confusing, man. It was confusing. Now.
So there must have been some miscommunication between the cops and the actual
principals,
and the principals, and the authority, school authority.
Think about it. This is like at the cusp of the 90s too, like. Going into because the whole baggy clothes didn't change till
like early 2000s.
No, more like mid 2000s,
right?
Yeah.
With I know like Jim Jones, and then we were wearing like the tight rock and roll stuff. Right?
Exactly.
With Dipset and them. So what ended up happening was this is like the whole baggy clothes era. So you would see 4 people together or 5 people, or 4 minorities, and like the cops rolling up on you. They're rolling up, they're checking you. But this has been happening to me since I was a kid. Like the first time I ever got, searched was when I was in 3rd grade walking to school, in California, So you have those memories, so the experiences, and of what the cops.
It almost leaves you with like a type of PTSD in a way.
Yeah, man, it was a little bit traumatic,
A little bit.
Yeah, it was a lot traumatic, to be honest. But so that was my experience as a youth, right? And that's not the point of this conversation. The point is that while we're dancing, there was another high school where the cop was actually encouraging these guys to actually break dance and break and b-boy and dance and house and do all this stuff. But a lot of the people there, a lot of the students there really weren't really into it. They were more into the thug life stuff, So I went to a dance, like a homecoming dance, and he saw me. And as soon as I started dancing, and there was a bunch of us there, and then he starts walking. Like I see him because he's tall. His name is Officer Seahorn. He was the cop over at the school cop police at Northbrook High School in Spring Branch. He starts walking through. I don't know if you remember this, Officer Seahorn. I hope you remember. You're walking through, and we're ready to run and get out of there. And he says, "Stop. Keep dancing, young man." Like, it's like keep doing your thing, young man. Don't worry about it. Nobody's gonna mess with you here. And we're at a different high school, at a different homecoming, and we're just dancing. Now, like when you used to go to the kids, sometimes they were happy, sometimes they weren't. Yeah. Sometimes they let you dance, sometimes they wouldn't. Any other school, they're kicking you out. And he just said, "Nah, don't worry about it, young man." He goes, "I'd rather you be in here than be out there causing trouble. And I respect the fact that you're here."
Wow.
And he gave me his card.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
He gave me a card, right? So this is all happening, like the lights are going, we're battling, we're competing with these other guys and stuff like that. So then he hits me, he gives me the card and stuff, put it in my pocket and zip it up because I had the Adidas sweatsuit, you know what I'm saying? So I had it up.
Word.
So then I get home and and I see his card and he's like, just whenever you feel like come up here after school. And then if anybody stops, you show them my card that you're here to see me. So I go to the school, man, me and a few friends, we go over there. And he has like vinyl laid out and everybody's practicing and stuff like that. And I see him, like, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? This and that." We just start talking. And then he was just so encouraging and so my experiences before him were so difficult and different, but with him, dude, it was just like, he was so positive just from the jump, and I don't know what his experience was with other students or anything like that, as far as, him, being a disciplinarian, because, he is the cop,
Absolutely.
He has to enforce the law.
He's an authority.
Me, man, Officer Seahorn, let me tell you something. You were awesome. You did. You didn't treat me any different. You showed me a lot of love, a lot of respect. And I didn't even know if you remember me, but if you're out there, thank you for being cool with us. He knew that we were just dancing. He had a brother that rapped
Mad
too,
props to Officer Seahorn.
So
shout out to Officer Seahorn.
So big round of applause to him.
We need more policemen like that.
Absolutely. I want to get to this topic. Jesse, were you ever bullied during school and stuff like that?
Man, to be honest, I was picked on a lot growing up. It was mainly during elementary and middle school. High school, I wasn't really bullied anymore because that's when I really started getting into hip hop and I was more confident at the time. So I was able to like self-defense myself and everything. But elementary and middle school, man, I was picked on like crazy, man. At the time, I was really, really tiny and skinny.
I remember you were little.
And I had huge glasses that I guess I look like Harry Potter because everyone kept calling me Harry Potter, you know.
And Harry Potter was big during that time.
Yeah, but I know it's kind of funny to say though, but I was bullied by guys and girls, man.
Really?
I remember this one time, bro. I was in the bus.
Turn down the laugh a little, bro. I heard it in his feelings over here.
My
Bringing
bad.
back memories,
PTSD.
No, but like I remember, bro. Like
girls and boys.
Yeah. Man, it's crazy because I remember one time I was on the bus, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I guess I must have been asleep or something. But I thought I was at my bus stop, but I wasn't. So I started walking off the bus, and I came to realize this isn't my stop. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go back to my seat.
Wow.
As I turn around, this older girl who was like way taller than me at the time, and she was really strong. Because she said, "Hey, move out my way. This is my stop." And I said, "Okay, my bad."
Yeah.
But instead of her moving out the way so I could go through, she physically picked me up and she threw me to my chair, bro. So in front of everybody, man. So like, yeah, bro. I don't know what she ate, but she was strong, man.
She ate Wheaties.
She ate. I don't know what she ate.
Frijoles.
Yeah, man. And then I remember I just laid down and my legs were up like that, and like
bro.
everybody was just laughing at me and stuff. And it was stuff like that, you know, small things here and there, getting picked on, names and stuff. But you know, there is one story where I was the bully, and I want to apologize to that person. That, you know, we're on the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't remember your last name, but his name was Justin.
Yeah.
And I remember it was right before we left class. He was a very tiny kid at the time, you know, and I feel bad for this. Yeah. But I remember I pulled the chair back right before he sat down. And he actually hit his head. Yeah. He hit his head on the chair really, really hard. And he had to get sent to the nurse and everything.
Oh, dang.
A big old bump.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I got caught, you know, of course.
Yeah.
And I got
in trouble for that.
I got in trouble for that. I got my consequences, had detention and all that.
So he's speaking his truth. We're not, advocating this. Obviously, this is something that happened to you. But you know, they say that, you know, hurt people. You know, so you were obviously bullied.
Yeah.
You know, and was that the only time?
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a few other times, but that's the
one that you remember.
Yeah, so,
specifically.
You know, now that I have that, I want to apologize to you, Justin. Yeah. You know, I didn't mean to do that. You know, so I'm sorry. You know, and that's the good thing about hip hop is that it kind of teaches you how not to be a bully and how to be the bigger person. And you know, I give a big shout out to hip hop for that.
Absolutely. You know? I know I've never been a bully, but I have been bullied before. I used to be a real quiet, introverted, you know, kept to myself. So I would always get around like these, these rough guys around the neighborhood and want to prove themselves and try to, you know, prove themselves to be hard and gangster. And I guess they figured I was, you know, the easy target because I didn't roll with anybody. I rolled by myself. So it seems like an easy person to pick on. You know, until I started fighting back and so, hey, don't play with me.
You can only take so much, you know. You can only take
pressure
so much,
pressure buzz pipes. You know what I'm saying? So even the most timid, you know, quiet, shy kids, at some point, you know, you're gonna reach that limit, man. It's like you're not gonna take no more. You know. So, but I've never been a bully. Never. I've always been more the one to be a champion for the ones that get picked on. Be like, hey, man. Man, leave him alone, man. He ain't doing nothing, man. Chill out. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be the one to try to get the bully to back off. You know what I mean?
That's honorable, bro.
You know, because I know how it felt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I would just.
What about you, George?
Yeah. What about you, George?
For me, I don't know if I was a bully. I guess if you asked that question, maybe you were, right? But I would. People would make fun of me a lot, and there was a thing we used to do called like snapping or jonesing, or like, you know, like just
ranking.
Oh, we used to go like now capping is like if you're lying, but for us capping is like capping would be like just making fun of each other, right?
Like your mama, like your mama jokes or something.
Yeah, you know, like, you know, this and that, or you just making fun of each other, right?
Yeah, ranking.
Ranking, right? So So that would happen in my neighborhood a lot, like all the time. Everybody's always like picking on you, saying little things here and there, And I would get picked on because I was just like you, Jesse. I was real little, you know what I'm saying, and real skinny, and I had asthma, so I had to carry the inhaler, you know what I'm saying, everywhere I went, you know what I mean. And then like we were poor, so like we didn't have like the trendy shoes or nothing like that. We always had clean clothes and stuff, but we didn't have like the latest. I didn't have the Jordans.
Yeah, you had to wear what mama could afford.
What mama could afford. And in LA at that time, there was like Raiders gear and Los Angeles Kings. The hockey team and stuff was something that was big. So I remember being in school one day, and there was like a group of 4 kids, man. And every day that I would go to school, I would walk to my class, and then at the end of the day, they would just like, push me and shove me down. And then one time I had like this, I had made this thing for my mom, and it was like made out of like pipe cleaners, but it was like this like a Mother's Day gift or whatever. And I was just like walking like this. I think I had to be like 2nd grade or something. I was walking like all the way home. I was like, okay, here, mom. And I'm in my head like, here you go, mom. And all of a sudden, the dude goes, "Bah!" Just throws it up, steps on it, pushes me into a puddle, dude. And literally his friends like jump on me and just like, and I'm sitting there with mud and all kinds of stuff. And I get up and I'm just like looking, and I'm just like, man, like, so that's what was like in my early years. And then as I got a little bit older, there's just like, you got to like back it up. Like if somebody says something to you, then I would start getting witty. So the next thing you know, we would go back and forth. And then the big guys, I would start making them laugh, and then they would just leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? But there was one kid that I remember one time he was making fun of me. And then I just left him alone. And then he actually like he really like, he was going for me. He just kept going. And then I just turned around and started talking back, answering whatever he was throwing at me. And I made him cry, and I remember him running off, and everybody was like, how did you make that dude? Like he was kind of picking on you, and now you kind of turned it on him. But I remember like, I didn't feel good about it, but they were all like encouraging it type thing, you know what I mean? And then after that, he like left me alone. But that's one thing. I think his name was Alex. So my bad, Alex. I'm sorry. This is in California. I don't know if you remember me or not. We were kids, dude. I didn't make fun of you. We were capping out each other about our sneakers or something, and you said something about me, and I said something about you. So that's my apology to you, dude. So, but yeah, man, like it. Did being a bully or did that ever affect you out? Like once you kind of got over it, did you feel like, how did that kind of like mess with you? Did it mess with you?
Actually, it really did, because now, fast forward, like 10 plus years, now I'm working with the youth full time. And so, occasionally I see it happening in front of me. Yeah. So, being able to be, having the experience of being the bully and being bullied, I kind of know how to de-escalate the situation and try to teach these kids like, hey, there's different ways to go about your problems. First thing, talk about it, If you have an issue with somebody, try talking about it,
Absolutely.
If they're being difficult about it and they don't want to compromise with you and try to talk with you, or talk to somebody else,
Absolutely.
If you're a student, you go to school, right? And at schools, they provide counselors, people professionally who you can talk to about these problems. And, there's different ways to go about it. Another thing that you can go to is find a positive outlet. You know what I'm saying? For us, it was breaking. Other people, it could be graffiti, it could be sports, it could be academics. But if you're going through any bullying yourself in your life, talk to somebody. Find somebody you can trust, and, see if they can help you out as well, too. What about you, George?
For me, the same thing, being able to see the kids in school, and what's happening a lot, Shadow, too? Like, a lot of cyberbullying is happening, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people online. That's one thing that we didn't have when we were growing up, was the social media
Social
stuff.
media.
Did you guys had that?
Nah,
Not really, right?
I didn't really have. The only thing I had was MySpace during my high school.
Yeah.
And then during college is when everything started dropping, like Snapchat.
Working with the students and kids, and you having kids, obviously, you know about that. But working with like a large group of students, or even traveling, you would see the level of bully, and the type of bully. Sometimes it was, the kid that was, that didn't have, the family structure, right?
Yeah.
And then there was the kid who had the family structure, but the parents were too busy.
Yeah.
Mom works at the library, and then dad's corporate, and then the kid is just all left alone to do whatever he wants, and he's running amok. Then you have the kid who who doesn't have the parents, who needs the guidance, Then you have the kid that just is in the streets that as much as you talk to him, he's just already his mind's
made up.
So for like you were saying, like for us, it's like we found dance. Dance was our thing. For art. Music. Music. Dance. Music, art, dance. That's why we call this mad discussions, because it's like music, art, and dance really saved our lives, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
man, I just had this discussion with somebody the other day because I was fully enveloped in all of the arts, from theater to music to dancing, everything, and then it literally saved my life. Yeah. You know what I mean? I just had this discussion with somebody.
And I was gonna ask you too, like, why do you think it was? Why did hip hop move you versus any other form? Any versus jazz or contemporary or whatever? Like, why do you think hip hop, dance, and house and
because
that
it was
spoke to you?
It was for hip hop. It was the rawness. It was the beats. It was just hard.
It was just like
it wasn't my parents' music
during the boom bap.
I mean, it was my parents' music, but you know what I mean? Because we when I say that, I mean because we used a lot of the samples come from those 70s and 60s and 80s records. So it was our parents' music, but it was fresh. It was new. It was almost like a remix. The drums, everything was hitting hard. It was just more grit to it. Yeah. So that kind of really was what did it for me. It was the beats. It was the music within itself. The texture of it, the energy of it. It was a different energy.
Absolutely.
And it spoke to me. It just I can't describe it. It touched me.
Yeah. How do I say it? Like a religious experience, kind of.
Yeah.
Because house has that. It's something that's like you're in a trance. It's like you just like you're hypnotized by it. It's like whatever's happening, I'm here, and then next woof, and the way the music drops,
you're waiting for it to come back. That anticipation.
You know what I mean? And then it just gets quiet. Boom, dum, dum, dum. Dun, 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 dun. You know what I mean? It just goes. Yeah, hey. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, yes, sir. That pushes me. That takes me back. Like, Jesse. Yeah, the same question for you, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, the same thing I was asking.
I think for me, it was just. I think the first word that comes to me is being free. Because. A lot of times, if you go into, I'm not saying this to be negative, but if you go to other dance styles, it's more structured. You have to have certain steps. It has to be like this, or it has to be like that.
Now, a little disclaimer: there is structure in hip hop, there is structure in house, there is structure in breaking. Mm-hmm. We're speaking because there's the technique and this foundation, mm-hmm. there's all that. So for those dancers right now who are doing backflips, because we didn't mention that, relax. Okay. So all the dancers out there that are upset about what we just said, he's speaking on him as a kid. Yep. And what he was used to. This is his truth. So go ahead.
And so like for me, they of course breaking has its structure as well too.
Yeah.
You have to have your tops, you have to have your go downs, your footwork, your freezes, your originality, your transitions, etc.
Absolutely.
And so, but at the same time though, the beauty of breaking is that you can literally incorporate any style you want into it. If you are a house dancer, you can put in house steps into breaking, or vice versa. If you're a house dancer, you can bring in breaking steps into housing.
It's almost like it's all like interchangeable. A lot of house steps, like you said, a lot of hip hop steps went over into house music and vice versa.
Yeah. Exactly.
Kung Fu was
gymnastics,
capoeira,
cartoons.
A lot of capoeira.
No, but they used the tiger style, the drunken style technique. These are old karate, kung fu, movies and stuff. That's actual techniques. Right. The tiger, the eagle, the crane,
and
all those.
The main thing though was music though. Honestly, it was the way how the music made me feel, because music to me has always been a big deal. Like ever since I was little, I used to listen to Selena. I'd go to a lot of weddings and stuff. And one thing that's weird,
all the Latinos out there, they're like Salinas
for real. But the one type of music that really like touched me since I was little, I don't know why, and to this day is disco. I don't know why, man.
Well, I mean, it's the prelude to house music.
Yeah, and I don't know why. Like that music is just so different. It gives you life. You know what I'm saying?
Without disco, there is no house.
Exactly. And disco never died.
Hey,
disco never died.
Disco's still here. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But like I think that's what
let
it
me
was.
find out I turned around and you were wearing a big afro.
Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, come on.
But yeah, I think that's what it was for me. Was for breaking, it was the music.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. The music kept me going, and the fact that you can put your own movements and really create your own style to it.
So contemporary ballet, all that other stuff. Did you even know about it, or was hip hop the first introduction into dance?
Yeah, hip hop was the first introduction into dance.
So that's kind of. Did you ever experience anything other dance forms besides hip hop?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Like
I remember
before you even got connected with house dancing or dancing.
It was after.
Okay, so your introduction, your first, hip hop dance and house dance opened the door for you to experience other dance.
Yeah. Opened up the door for other genres.
So this is something that, think about this too. Like for me, I never even knew that you could even do dance as a profession or anything.
Not with hip hop.
With hip hop. And then I didn't even know about ballet or even contemporary, none of that stuff until I started getting into dance itself.
Yeah.
And it's funny that some people grew up with only ballet and only contemporary jazz and they don't know about hip hop. But see, we were the opposite. Hip hop was the only thing that was available to us. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's dope though about hip hop?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
It just made me think about it. Even though we didn't have the training, like the ballet training or the modern contemporary training, the thing that was great about us is that we were so flexible, so agile. We can do what they can do.
Yeah.
But it would be almost impossible for them to do the things that we can do. But even though we would do let me be when I say this, although we can do the things that they could do, we might not have done it with the same technique, or with the same grace, or or form. But we can do it. But they couldn't even begin to even think about attempting to do some of the things that we were able to do with our bodies, at the time.
Yeah, I think those styles, and I don't know too much about it, but I know that it's been around for hundreds of years. It's supposed to be a certain way. It's supposed to be this way.
And there's traditional.
Everything. There is no room for you to come up with your own thing. Okay, go over here and create. No, it's
not about you expressing yourself.
Do as you're told. Be quiet, and that's it. When in contemporary or when in hip hop, or hip hop theater, hip hop dance theater, what I'm saying, you're allowed to have pockets. Well, of course, there's structured choreography. Even with Fly, there's moments where you do the choreo, but then you do have moments to kind of create your own, right?
Exactly.
And freestyle.
Yeah. And another thing too is that breaking is free. You can break anywhere. There's times where we've done shows on grass, we've done shows on broken concrete. Yeah. I have a scar on my hand right here where I was doing windmills on a carpet stage, man. Wow. Like, come on, man, carpet stage. But we still did it though. You know what I'm saying?
How many carpet burns you got, man?
Man, I got too many carpet burns, man.
I'm telling you.
If you put them all together, it looks like the shape of Hawaii.
Shout out to everybody in Hawaii listening,
For real.
And that's the thing about it. Like, going back to you, I have a story. We were in New York one year. Same thing happened to us. Everybody was like looking at us, looking down to us. Another company was there, and they were just looking at us. They put us in this corner or whatever. A lot of people from overseas, so they finally did the performance. At the end, everybody runs up to us. Oh, he was magnifique. He was beautiful. This and that, and all their accents and stuff. Now they want to be our best friends,
Yeah.
But they were just sitting there looking at us, silly, and and then afterwards, the guys just started dancing in the lobby and stuff, and they're like, "How can you dance in the lobby? We this and that." And it's like, they need Marley, they need this and that, and the smooth floor, which we request that now, if it's available. But we, like you said, we even now, if there's not a smooth floor, the guys, their truck, they how do you see they
we just tough it out.
They tough it out, they're built. They come from a different cloth, they're not gonna back away from that,
We done danced on linoleum, carpet,
gravel,
concrete, gravel.
And Houston is humid. And it's super hot. And they used to have the international festival. They used to do this parade, and I'm pretty sure you've done this, where you're walking down in the middle of the street. It's like 80 degrees, 100 degrees. You're wearing sweatsuits because that's the costume, and you're dancing on this hot floor, and you're burning your hands and everything, But it's part of the grind, and every 30 steps you stop, you freestyle all like 2 mile long road,
For the love of dance.
For the love of dance. I also want to give a big shout out to those who still session in their garages, especially here in Houston.
Absolutely.
I feel like the best practices have been in the garage. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the comfort spot.
I don't know. I'm sure, but Little John was one of those guys who's probably still out there sessioning in the garage.
And it's funny how you mentioned Little John.
He's the GOAT, man. One time I saw Little John. He was, he danced with Fly at one point. I saw John, no lie, maybe I'm exaggerating, but from what I remember, this is it was honest in my heart. I remember standing and watching him not repeat one move for almost like had to be at least 2 hours.
Wow.
And he just made up all kinds of stuff. And I was just like, what? And he's just dancing, not looking at nobody, just doing his thing for like 2 hours. After he battled some people too. It's like, I think it was at YA, and I was just like, just didn't repeat. And, I don't know if you noticed, if he did it on purpose or he was just in the vibe or whatever, but I was just sitting there, I was just like, my mouth dropped like, whoa, let's do something else. So Little John, he's to me one of the rawest.
And he recently just celebrated his 40th birthday, and what he did, he went on Instagram and he did 40 rounds to celebrate each year of his birthday. So he was battling from kids to adults from all around the world. I was watching it. He battled some people from Japan. He battled people from Houston, from Cali. So I know for sure he's still getting down in his garage, and he's still raw too.
Yeah, absolutely. Super legend, dance legend, b-boy legend. He's a husband, he's a father, he's an amazing man. So salutes. He's been through the Fly family as well. So it's one of our
he's like a pioneer.
Fly alumni, and much respect to you, Little John, for always, being a stand-up dude, and always, supporting and pushing the culture forward. You know what I mean? Absolutely. So let's give him a round of applause to Little John.
Big shout out.
Okay, so now let's try to switch gears for a little bit, and now for Let's talk what's happening right now, and for some news around the world, man. As we know, hi, my name is Jorge Casco, and tonight on News at 2
and Weather with Jesse. It's hot outside, man.
All right.
And Shadow back at the traffic report.
How is it out there, Mr. Shadow? How's the traffic report?
Well,
The helicopter. All right,
cold breeze.
Right, right. Now on a more serious tip, right? We just messing around, but like on a serious tip, everything that happened at the Capitol, that's kind of scary, man. You have any thoughts about what happened?
Man. Honestly, it was kind of like watching like a horror movie at once. Because like if you were watching it, this thing didn't happen really fast. Like it was a very slow paced event. Like they weren't really charging in there. They were just literally just walking, slowly but surely. And next thing you know, they're in the main room. Yeah. And I don't know. To me, I never thought I'd see something like that. Like it was just something that was just like wow. You know what I mean? It was very mind-blowing to see, especially on live TV.
Yeah.
I was at work at the time. I was substituting kids, and I just took a little sneak peek on my phone, and I saw what was going on.
What?
And I was just like, oh, man, this is not good, man. This is not good at all. It's not good.
Yeah, absolutely. Shadow, any words?
I was at a loss for words. I was watching it with my mouth open like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I can't believe this is actually happening. So my first immediate thought, I couldn't help but to think, imagine if that was a bunch of melanated people,
minorities,
non-Caucasian people like that.
Yeah.
And my mind immediately went back to last year, during the whole...
the peaceful protests.
Yeah. The BLM movement.
BLM movement.
Yeah.
And I remember when who's the guy that
George Floyd.
My mind was a little blurred.
Yeah.
I remember then when we were talking about protesting and everything, and all that good stuff. Not even rioting, but just protesting, peaceful protest. They already had military lined up on the Capitol steps,
wishing
somebody
would do something. Yeah.
What we witnessed, last week.
Yeah.
And so it was just kind of, I was confused, like,
yeah.
Where's that same energy at? Like,
it's kind of crazy too, because I was watching it and Mike Pence was there, and so I'm thinking, this is the vice president. There should be some Secret Service, being involved. That's that should be protecting the people in there, because that's an important meeting that they were having. There was a lot of politicians in there, different senators. Like that's our government right there.
Yeah.
And for them to let that happen like that, it's kind of like confusing. You know what I mean?
It just it leaves so many questions, to where we could be here all night talking about it, right?
Trying to figure it out.
But I think what was more shocking to me versus, having, obviously the Confederate flags, the image of the noose. That was really troubling to see.
I think the image of the noose. I want to add some clarification on it. I remember being in history class. I know that anybody who is known for doing any type of treason or to do anything against, the country, they would be taken to the gallows.
Oh, okay. So that's where that comes from.
That's what that's for. Because that's for people that's committing treason against the United States.
So I'm looking at my feed on my phone. I think I was with my dad at a doctor's appointment, and I'm looking at what's happening, and I'm trying to listen to what the doctor's telling me about my dad and this and that, and I'm kind of in shock. It kind of took me back to like 9/11, man, as far as like the news stopped, the world stopped for a day. I remember I thought I was seeing a movie, when the planes hit, and it was just like, I remember exactly where I was. I was in Pittsburgh, Texas, watching that, But now looking at this, this situation, it really wasn't, to me, what wasn't shocking it wasn't shocking that they were breaking the windows and they were climbing on the side and they were, just walking in and like literally like trying to get into where the senators were and all that. What really was the most shocking part was when they were walking out.
Yeah.
And the security people, or whoever was in charge of protecting that Senate was standing there, and they're just walking out with their hands raised in the air, and they're just like walking out. Not the fact that they went in there, did everything, like all that stuff, but it's like the fact that they just walked out. I was like, if it's not in your face, if you had any doubt or anything as how minorities are treated in this country, that right there was the obvious. It's like they're being let go. They're walking out of it. They just broke. That's breaking and entering, bro. Like you get in trouble for a warehouse that has graffiti. You could get. One of my friends was spray painting when he was a kid. He was like spray painting this, like his he had his bike. He was spray painting his bike, and it was leaned up against the wall. And he's spray painting his bike, right? And it was in the back of this warehouse. And he spray painted his bike, and he sprayed the wall.
Wow.
And he got in trouble for that. You know what I mean? And it's like he got like detention, like not detention, he got like a fine and all kinds of stuff. And like he didn't mean to do it. He was a kid, So it was just like, it was one of those things, It's just like, America's hurt, and our heart goes out to everybody who's been hurt, and we don't know. We're not even saying anything about anything. It's world news, and
I just thought it's kind of it was really a sore eye for our country in front of the world.
No, that's true.
On the world stage, so
it's kind of crazy too, because I heard that that day was the first time ever a Confederate flag was in in that Capitol building.
Wow.
They said even during the Civil War that that flag never even made it close to making it inside.
Wow.
So to think about that in 2020, like that's insane, man.
It is insane, really is.
And America, there's a lot of pain there there's a lot of love there too, because we love each other and we're in America. You know what I'm saying? We have love for our families and stuff, but It's just some things. I don't even know what to think about it anymore when it comes to that type of stuff. You know,
we got to get it together.
We do.
Hey, let's get it together, America.
Come together and get it together.
You know, be happy. You know, love yourself, love people around you. You know, be supportive. You know, be passionate about your life, your goals, whatever it is that you want to do. You know, if you've been bullied, if you're being bullied now, right? If you ever been bullied, if you're suffering from depression or you're dealing with something, there's a 24-hour hotline you can call. You can call the Harris Center, 24-hour hotline. You know, I was bullied. He was bullied. Shadow was bullied. Jesse was bullied. You know, at some point we were probably bullies ourselves. You know, we admitted to that. We apologize to that. You know, so what we want to say is that if you're dealing with depression, you know, like we've dealt with it during the COVID thing, you know, and we're still dealing with it now, you can call a hotline, 713-970-7000, 713-970-7000, 713-970-7000. Any closing remarks, Jesse?
Hey, thank you everybody for tuning in and listening. We are excited to be a part of this podcast. Stay tuned. We have a lot of awesome content coming right up.
Hey, appreciate you guys for rocking with us. You know, appreciate the continued support. Come check us out next time.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for tuning in to Mad Discussions with the Fly Guys, where we discuss music, art, and dance and other life topics. Before we go, if you want to see Fly Dance Company in concert, make sure you check us out.
We will be at the Complex Center in Gillette, Wyoming, doing educational shows March 1st to the 3rd. April 22nd, we will be at the Memorial Auditorium. We'll be doing a concert and a few workshops out there. July 10th, we will be working with the Missouri Symphony at the Missouri Theater in Columbia, Missouri. And last but not least, December 4th, we'll be working with the Youngstown Symphony at the Dior Performing Arts Center in Youngstown, Ohio.
Absolutely. Follow us on all social media and make sure you visit us at flydancecompany.com. Thank you guys so much. This is Mad Discussions
Peace.
with the Fly Guys, music, art, and dance.